What's up guys, Boy G here, back on another video. Expedition 33, what a crazy game. I've been playing this game non-stop for the past couple of days, couple of weeks maybe. I'm actually around 150 hours already, New Game Plus 3. But I would just like to break down or analyze the endings, right? So this is a spoiler, right? Spoiler warning. If you haven't finished the game yet, please do not watch this video, do not listen, do not read any comments. But I think at this point of time, most of you already finished the game and already witnessed how amazing, how spectacular this masterpiece is. Just to get it out of the way, this is one of my top 3 games. As a matter of fact, this is my best game of all time right now. My best game is Final Fantasy VII when I was like a kid. But now that I'm 40 years old, this is now my best game, at least for this age. So, endings, right? So I finished the game, of course, obviously, a couple of times already, and I already witnessed both of the endings. So I would just like to break it down and analyze it in my own interpretation. Now I can definitely understand, right? See both side, but I would like to know your opinion as well, right? Your own thought process. So let me know down in the comments below. What are your thoughts, right, and opinion on this endings, right? For me, I'm gonna break it down, starting with Maelle. Personally, right, in my own opinion, Maelle's ending is perfect, or rather, the correct one, right? Not morally or emotionally, but game wise, right? On a perspective, because we started the game as Maelle, or Gustav rather, right? And then Maelle. But we started the game as Lumiere. Can I say it like that? As citizens of Lumiere in the canvas, right? In the painted world. So we didn't know the Descendre family, Verso. We don't even know Verso, right? Verso is a stranger to us. We're living a good life. I mean, Maelle has been living for 16 years already in Lumiere. That means that their lives out there is as real as it can get, right? It's almost the same as us, right? So I know we'll always argue about they're just not real, they're painted. But before Verso, they don't even know, right? It's real for them. And honestly speaking, the Expedition 33 are the only one who knows that they're not real because of the ending, because of Verso. But in the entire Lumiere, even for Gustav, their world is real. It's just exactly like us humans. We don't even know if what's real or not. This is our reality. So for Lumierans, right, for the people in Lumiere like Sophie, Gustav, and others, they are real. Now, for Maelle ending, I think a lot of people don't really see this because, again, emotionally wise, Verso is more dramatic, more sad, more realistic though, right? So that is for the real life. But I wanted to discuss and to pick the specific things why Maelle ending makes more sense for the game itself. Verso, if you notice on the ending of Maelle, if you select Maelle, is no longer immortal. He doesn't have the slash on his face, and all of his facial hair and hair is already white, right? Indicating that it's actually aging already. It's not even like white like others white like Alicia, but it's just aging. It looks old, right? And that is because that Verso is actually not the immortal one that Aline created, right? Maman, the mother. Maman or Aline created the immortal Verso because he doesn't want Verso to go away, right? But on the ending, if you pay attention, if you selected Maelle, Maelle actually gomage, right? Verso or Verso disappeared because that painted, that immortal version painted by Aline already disappeared, and Maelle just repainted the new version of Verso, which is not immortal anymore, but it's more like a second chance in life, right? Along with Maelle. So if you think about it, Maelle just gave Verso and herself a second chance to live, right? Because in reality, their life got messed up, right? Verso died, Maelle face got effed up, she cannot speak anymore. It's no life anymore, right? But on the painted world and the canvas, that's their second chance of living. You can even think that it's like a parallel universe, not like a canvas, right? It's almost similar, that they just given a different path on the universe, right? Instead of Verso dying on this path, on this universe, Verso lived. And, he managed to fulfill playing the piano, which he absolutely loved, and Maelle promised him to be featured on her very first opera show. The problem, I think, is the presentation of that is kind of eerie because of the black and white and the ending and the music. It looks scary and eerie. That's why people are like thinking it's scary and Verso's ending is better. But the only bad one actually in Verso's or in Maelle's ending is Maelle dying, right? Or becoming, like the paintress. But that is the sacrifice that she did. And you can even think of that as a selfless act, right? She's willing to die at least, just to give more time with his or with the brother, with her brother, and with all of her loved ones, right? Minoko, Eske, and other stuff. So this is definitely the second chance for them to live again. Gustave is back, right? Along with the people in Lumiere, right? Like Pierre, Ciel's husband, and of course others. Sophie, you probably notice the children, right? Gustave's apprentice are now happy because they're all complete. On that perspective, it's perfect, right? You can even see that ending is a celebration, right? They're all in the opera house, all happy, celebrating life. This is on Maelle's ending. Again, this is an entire world, an entire civilization. Regardless if they're painted or not, that is their reality. Now here, Verso will die, or Verso can die eventually, aging, as is not immortal anymore. But the canvas will remain, right? Along with Eske, Minoko, Lune, Ciel, and everyone else, right? Since this is again repainted by Maelle. This is not the original, canvas or painted by Aline already. It's all combination and repainted by Maelle already. Kids in Lumiere and everyone else, the people there will now have the chance to grow up, right? To experience life, which they were, they did not experience before. It's just all horrible death and gomage before. But right now, finally, the sole purpose of the expedition, after so many expeditions, so many death, right? So many body since Expedition 100, finally, the mission is now successful. And that is only possible on Maelle's ending. Painted or not, this Lumiere, again, and its people, is as real as the outside world in the manner, which is just created by somebody else, like the writers or the devs. It's pretty much like us, right? They're all creations. like exactly like us on Earth. So it's about perspective. On the perspective of the people in Lumiere, they are real. It's like us on our perspective. They may be God, they may be someone who created us, but we don't know that, or at least on our perspective, we are real, right? We're not simulation, we're not just fakery. We are real. It's exactly like them in the Lumiere. So I think the argument about they're not real, they're just painting is incorrect, not entirely correct, because that is on the perspective of the painter or in the outside world. But on the perspective of Gustav and everyone else, they are all real. And killing them all, right, on Versus Ending, killing them all is just like mass murder, right? It's ending of the entire civilization, ending of the entire world. And I don't really know why people are choosing that or preferring that, justifying to save a single family, right? Killing everyone else, right? Genocide. So let me talk about Versus Ending, right? Why I think or why I don't like it so much. Now again, I understand, right? I understand in a normal way of thinking, right? The simplistic way, Versus Ending makes more sense, right? It's just a simple way of doing it. Move on with the grief versus dead, move on with your cruel life, right? Maelle will live with no voice, with broken face. Clea is a bitch. Clea is bullying her. And I don't even know if Maelle will commit suicide after a couple of days, because she's depressed, right? If you think this world or the reality is the only option or the best world out there, then be my guest. But for Maelle, the better world, the better reality is the painted one. And I couldn't really blame her, especially not right now, seeing a lot of stuff happening in the world right now, right? But let me talk about Versus Ending again. For me, Versus Ending is pretty bad, right? It's just again presented more appealing and more dramatic. That's why it's resonating to us all, simplistically. But first thing that we need to know, Verso is already dead, right? Verso is already dead long time ago. This version that we actually have is a painted version of Verso that carries his memory, which unfortunately died again, right? Because of this ending, accomplishing nothing. So if you think about it, Verso here didn't really accomplish anything, right? They just died again for the second time, kind of like giving the Descender family another reason to mourn, right? The real one already died, and then the painted one also died. It didn't even accomplish the goal of making Verso spirit live in, right? Or at least, be together with the family and all of that stuff. He just died again, accomplishing nothing. Maelle is back on her depressed, pathetic, disabled life, bullied by Clea, as we all know. And a lot of youngs and a lot of teenagers, especially the ones who committed suicide and depressed, will understand her better, especially given a chance to already live to a perfect, right, to a happy place where she'd been. But now she's back to this cruel world that again, if you argue this is better, then I'll leave you to it. Now we need to understand, we need to see that Verso wiped out an entire civilization, right? Entire world along with SK, Minoko, these beings who loved him unconditionally, yet he betrayed them by forgetting them, by just trashing them permanently after everything else they've done for him. not even giving them a chance to live with Maelle, right? His little sister or others. It's like killing your dog just because you cannot feed him anymore because you're going abroad or going far away instead of giving him to your younger sister or your neighbor, right? For a better caring. You just killed him. Verso, by the way, who is a nobody, right? If you're forgetting, he's a stranger, right? Stranger for Lune, for Ciel, and for everyone else, and just killed them all permanently. This stranger killed them all permanently, the entire canvas, right? Including kids, women, dog, everyone, just so he can get his own personal goal. So think about that for a second. Verso was actually just a stranger. He knows no one, right? On Lumiere, at least at this time. So he doesn't know Lune, doesn't know Ciel, and the kids got no connection to Gustavo princesses. He got no one. He only knows Monoko and Eske, from his creation, because the Lumiere one, the people in Lumiere was actually a creation of Aline, the mother, right, along with him. So he actually killed everyone else without remorse because he doesn't have any connection to them, right? That's very cruel, as a matter of fact. And imagine he also had Gustave killed, right? Which was also killed by Renoir, as we all know. But then, if we choose Verso's ending, right? We choose it because we want to save Verso, right? I mean, the Descender family. Ultimately, Verso, right? Letting him rest and whatever. Although again, that's only a painted version, right? The real Verso is already dead, right? We're trying to save a painted version of Verso while we argue that they're not real, right? It's almost contradicting, but yeah, choosing Verso's ending is like saving the people that actually tortured, killed, and made the people of Lumiere suffer, right? Renoir decapitated Alan, killed many, others on the Expedition 33, killed Gustave. They created Nebrons, right? And basically, they're the gods who played with these lives. And then we're gonna choose to save them rather than the entire Lumiere, which we lived in for like 16 years, right? At least if you're Maelle. Canvas will be destroyed, right? On Versus ending, Canvas is destroyed. Childhood memory of Versus gone. Aline's creation is gone. Maelle loved ones is gone. Like everyone, everything is gone. And for what? So Verso can finally die again. This is painted version of Verso. Real Verso is already dead long time ago. No need to bring everyone with him, including his sister's second chance to live happily ever without depression, right? So what Verso did here is he just brought everyone else to grave with him, which is, I think, wrong. Expedition fails to complete their mission here because instead of saving Lumiere, it got wiped out. And again, on our perspective, we are Expedition 33, following a lot of other expedition who countlessly sacrificed themselves for the cause, right? Expedition 69 laid out the climbing apparatuses, right? Climbing gears. Expedition 60 and a lot of other stuff. They sacrifice so much just for us to be here and to finally have the chance to save Lumiere. And then we will just choose Verso ending because we just met him somewhere after letting my brother die, right? Gustave, and then you will now choose to save him, letting everyone die. Everyone is hoping for Expedition 33 to save them, not to annihilate them. We need to understand that people inside the canvas are not puppets. They are creations, just like us here on Earth. Killing them is like, again, aliens or God wiping Earth, right? Killing everyone so that they can just do whatever Verso did there, right? Again, we're very real here, but it could be like some aliens or some God, other, or the God itself is just wiping us all because he just wanted to move on already. Again, we're on the perspective of Lumiere. They don't even know these people. I think Maelle's ending was presented in a haunting way, hence people felt eerie, on it and chose Verso's dramatic ending for the feels. But if you think about it, Maelle's ending is the canon. It's the perfect ending for our adventure's original goal, to save Lumiere and its people, not some stranger who let Gustave die and used us all to get his personal goal, killing us all without remorse, lying to us repeatedly just to get his personal goal. I think Maelle's ending is selfless, while Verso's ending is selfish. What will you choose? Let me know down in the comments below, guys. I wanted to see your thoughts. I'm pretty sure we have all different thought process and whatnot, and this is what makes this masterpiece a masterpiece. It promotes right thinking. It promotes conversation. It's just really a masterpiece, a masterclass. I love everything about this game. And if you haven't played Expedition 33 yet, I implore you to play this and understand everything, read every log, and really internalize everything. And I promise you, this will blow your mind.